The making of Age of Empires 2, 1999.
When I first started the company, I wanted a less corporate environment, and I envisioned a workplace that was something like when I used to get together with my friends in junior high school and high school to play Dungeons & Dragons.
There it is.
We just all waited for the weekend to roll around so we can play games, and then we played games all weekend and lived off of Almond Joy bars and Cheetos. You couldn't tear us away from playing games, and that's the kind of environment I wanted to create.
That's the environment, exactly, bro. Like, this dude says, you know what? All I want to do is sit around and eat Cheetos and make video games, and they fucking did it.
Somehow he found me and
Yep.
called me up, and we talked, had these long, multiple-hour conversations about the game business. And after several of these, I remember mentioning to my wife, I wonder if he's going to start a game company. And sure enough, in late 1994, he said, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a game development company.
I had a consulting company, and one of our lead programmers, Angelo Loudon, and I were working on an accounting application. And we were pretty bored and had been working on that for months. And
I could see why.
He had told me that he had always wanted to, write computer games, and I told him I always wanted to start a game company. And by the morning, we were banging out the code for a tank game, which never got produced, but that's how the company got started.
Holy shit.
Within a few months of starting, we had narrowed down what we were going to do, the game would be. And
just a bunch of nerds sitting there making video games. This is how you get iconic games that stand the test of time. People actually love games, making decisions. Now it's some Harvard MBA with charts, and they wonder why games suck now. Nah, it's not a Harvard MBA with charts. I bet probably maybe some of these guys might have had Harvard MBA. Like, y'all gotta remember, this isn't just some random nerd. This is a guy already owned a consulting company. He's programming an accounting application in the early 90s, okay? Like, this guy's not just some random Dumbo, okay? Like, these people know what the fuck they're doing, and they're professionals.
And I think it was a strong idea.
These are giga nerds.
The idea of merging the best of real-time strategy with the best of turn-based strategy into kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
So I think we had a great idea at that time, and then it was just a question of finding the people and making
Bro,
it
remember
all.
whenever the fucking trebuchet or like one of these catapults would like fucking throw one of those things, one of the attacks, and it would like hit one of your horsemen, and it would just kill them in like 1 second? And it's like, what are the odds that it's gonna actually hit them? And it does, bro. It used to piss me off.
Come together.
It's crazy how well this game stood up,
the original
too.
Age of Empires, we included a learning campaign.
Oh, what the fuck? This is Ghostcrawler. Holy shit! Wait, what? I had no idea. That's insane.
On the Egyptian rise to power. It was more or less just an easier campaign, and we tried not to overwhelm the player too much.
Look at the PCs in the background.
As we moved into Age of Kings, we realized we needed to really take a step back and actually teach players how to work the interface, how to move units around the screen, how to upgrade technologies, how to fight the enemy. We did this by telling the story of William Wallace.
I remember. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that was so good. I remember. So, like, Age of Empires, the remastered version came out, and I got it for my mom. And what I used to always do is, since like her account was connected with mine, I would know whenever she would win a game. And whenever she would win a game, I would immediately go downstairs and be like, hey, because I know she'd be in a good mood. I'd be like, so, I was kind of hungry. Could you make me like a steak? And she's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I actually just finished up a game. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, really? That's so convenient. Did you win? And she's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, wow, good job. Yeah, wow, you really got their ass, huh?
Starting off the player with just a few military units trying to...
Yeah, bro, like, she bought this game for me back in I remember this game came out. I have the box, like the cardboard box of Age of Empires 2, and like the expansion set for it downstairs. And I got this game whenever it came out in 1999.
Break free of the English tyranny and gradually get more and more soldiers to build castles. And
I learned more about
William
history
Wallace
from this than I did from
move
school.
On to victory. Our goal was never to let the player think that he was being taught, but to have a fun experience and learn how to play the game while they were doing that.
Yeah.
When we do the artificial intelligence for the maps, for the computer player to play against the humans, we have two things we need to balance. First is, obviously, the game must be challenging for even the best players. The second aspect is it has to be fun for even the newest players, so that if someone's mother or their 4-year-old kid are trying to play the game. They have to get an enjoyable experience. The computer player has to seem to put up a fight, but it still has to lose.
Yeah.
When a game player is more adept and really wants a challenge, we have to have the AI be as powerful as possible to take him out.
Bro, the AI was so fucking aggro in this game too. Like, if you played it on like Omega hard mode, it was actually kind of hard because like they would rush you in like minute 3 or 4.
Formations is a good example of one of the things that we came across when we were trying to make the game more accessible to casual players. Formations in most games are fairly intimidating. They have a lot of things that you have to do to be able to get your units into formations, and it's a pretty abstract concept. You really can't intuitively figure out what series of buttons you have to click on someone's user interface to get.
Somebody said Robin Hood, cheese steak Jimmy's, how do you turn this thing on, Marco Polo, all the OG cheat codes. Well, we've replaced cheat codes with microtransactions. Those are the new cheat codes. Instead of your cheat code being all your base R belong to us, now it's $14.99.
Your units into a formation. So the approach that we took with formations was more making it entirely intuitive.
Marco Polo was it unlock the map, I think.
Formations in our game, you select your units, you tell them to go do something, they automatically go into the formation they're supposed to be in. It's much easier for people to understand, and it serves the purpose of the formation.
Ensemble Studios is very different from other game companies I've worked at for a number of reasons that are not very subtle. One is the way that it's managed and organized. At many game companies, most game companies, there's like the star, the guy who's in charge of the project, the auteur of the game. There's no stars here at Ensemble. The individual people here would be stars at other companies, but here we work as a team. We're all moved together on a project. Anyone on a project, not just the designer, is able to make suggestions, improvements, be listened to. From the financial officers to the front desk personnel, we're all work together very closely as a team.
Wow.
One of the things that people think of when they think about games is they think about the fun that goes into the game, getting the game in the box and out on the shelf for people to start playing.
Yeah, happy
but in
employees,
reality,
imagine
it
that.
takes 2, 3, sometimes even 4 years to develop a game. It takes us about 24 months to actually put together a major release like Age of Empires 2.
Holy shit, dude, there he is. Oh my god. And they're just sitting there looking at that fucking CRT monitor, the old keyboards. Oh my god, bro. There was a ball in this mouse, most likely. Keep that in mind.
We'll work on Age 2, upwards of 40 people, I think, at one point. Over 10 programmers. That's a pretty big entourage.
Look at that posture. I can guarantee you, like, this guy now is actually a real cave troll. Yeah, look at that, bro. he's evolved into a cave troll.
Programmers to kind of corral and work together.
Oh my god.
Particularly when we were all pretty well versed in the engine and everybody could do a lot of different things. It was kind of a juggling match sometimes to figure out which person got which tasks. But then at the same time, we had a couple of tasks that were really only good and suited for one person because of all the experience built up.
Oh, remember
so I
that?
think we did a really good job on the
like
project management of keeping the tasks flowing and keeping everybody busy. And again, I think that all comes from the communication and cooperation and respect that we all share as Ensemble employees.
Damn. Bro, this reminds me so much of 90s television and early 2000s television. This is so good. I love this. Wow.
Look, if a game is decided by many people, it's owned by many people. It's not just one person, although one person can bring up the initial thoughts of what a game is to look like. So initial sketches are done, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of gathering of reference, and then everyone kind of sits down, puts it up on a board, start making decisions on how the game will be based off of clear objectives and lots of input.
The process that we take to get artwork in the game is first the idea goes to a sketch artist. Sketch artist creates a few drawings. It goes through a review process. From the review process, it goes to an artist who...
I feel like back in the day, everybody's clothes just like sucked. Like nobody had like name brand clothes. It was like, so what kind of shirt is that? Gray. That's it.
Builds a model and textures the model. After the model is textured, it usually goes to an animator. The animator animates, and from there, off into the game.
Oh.
We try to make the music.
I hope, bro. You know they're probably not going to talk about it, but like, what if they talk about like how they did the monk sound, the whoa 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 whoa, whoa fucking the conversion thing.
Act as a mood setter more than a focal point in the game. We feel that it's secondary to the sound effects. The sound effects give you a lot of information as to what's going on.
They sure
and we
do.
try to complement that rather than overpower it.
Traditionally, we use a lot of synthesizers and samplers to achieve our sound, but more recently we've started involving a lot of acoustic type instruments.
Is that how it happened right there?
As much percussion as we can find. Whenever we're out at a store, doesn't matter if it's on an official trip or not, we find things, we bring them in. We might not even know how to use them.
Oh my God.
But that doesn't matter. As long as we can make interesting sounds with them, they serve a purpose.
To me, the best compliment is when someone says that they put our game CD in their car to listen to the music. So while we try to keep it as a background thing, it's more.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays, like back then, game music was like cool, but like now I feel like game music has definitely improved as like a general thing. Like obviously you still have shitty music and there are the iconic songs from back in the day, but I do feel like game music overall has evolved a lot.
A mood setter in the game. It's great that people feel like they can take it away and listen to it on its own.
Playtesting is the heart and soul of what we do. There's really no way that anyone can make a game in a vacuum, and at least our experience.
So what he's saying is like they'll test. So I guess what they used to do back then is they would like test the game before they bring it out. That's crazy. Wow. You don't believe that? Yeah, that's like, yeah, it's like back in the day.
Been that the more iterations of the game that you can get out there, the better a game you're going to have as an end result. So one of the things that we embrace as part of our core philosophy is getting a game playable as soon as possible and then getting it out in front of the entire company and having everyone play the game and generating feedback on a constant basis.
So the people at the company play the game they make? Okay. Okay. All right.
3 times a day during crunch time. There's basically a game going on constantly, and we mirror this as we go out.
Okay.
When you begin the game, you may have a small core of your team playing this game and getting that kind of feedback. When we get a little bit more involved in the process, then the entire company is playing the game. And when we're getting even closer to being complete, we have our beta test where we have thousands of people playing the game, giving us feedback. And
there he is again. Well, yeah, so it's basically just like a bunch of dudes sitting there playing a game. Wow.
It's basic ways to improve our game. It's really been the process that's worked for us, and I think it's one of the crucial things to creating a game that people are going to enjoy.
I basically know a game that's ready personally when the vast majority of the people in the company who are playtesting it, as well as the feedback from our outside playtesters, is very positive. I mean, I have to sort of use a groundswell of feedback that says, yes, you know, it feels right, people are having fun playing the game.
Huh.
I think the most exciting time of finishing a product is when you actually go out and see it on the shelves for the first time. You can
there it is, right fucking there, man. Holy shit.
Up the box with your game in it and go to the cash.
Yep, I remember, bro, whenever this shit came out, oh my God. We went so hard on this. Bro, like some of the new, like I remember they had like the Aztecs and like the Spanish, bro, like the Spanish went so hard. Like that was my favorite because they had these dudes on a horse with a gun. The conquistadors. Oh my God, man. Wow, this was fucking good.
Cheer and say, yes, I'm going to buy my game here that I worked on. It's really pretty thrilling to know that you can touch that many different people's lives. It can be pretty humbling.
The difference between Ensemble Studios and other game companies that I've worked for has been profits, for one, and profits means that you can spend money on nice equipment. And
they make money.
And you have R&D budgets, and you have.
Bro, like what's funny about this is like now, like people have like these same things, like walls with action figures, but like now it's a bunch of Funko Pops and anime girls. This is back whenever real men just made video games about like William Wallace fighting for the fucking independence of Scotland, you know?
Budgets, and you have
the
best equipment. That's one tangible thing. I think the most important intangible
Aztec
is
warriors.
the way we really try to take care of people. We're really people-oriented. A lot of companies talk about their people or being their number one asset, etc. But I think Tony Goodman, as our president, has really
I bet I
made
probably had that one.
an important focus. He really is concerned about the people working here.
I wouldn't really compare Ensemble Studios management to other companies. What I would say, though, is that we really have a well-seasoned management team that has great business acumen. We focus on making sure that this is a profitable company, producing AAA quality titles. That's been demonstrated with the company receiving many awards, and we really try to focus on being the best game company possible.
Man, it was a good time, wasn't it?
Where is the future for Ensemble Studios?
And I want y'all to understand something, okay? Is that gaming actually wasn't better back then, okay? Like, there were so many duds. Like, games, bro, like, you would buy the game, and it said it would work with Windows 95, but it would only work with one version of Windows 95. Or it would work with Windows 95, and then you get Windows 98, and it's not fucking backwards compatible. And so the game literally just doesn't run at all. And that's it. And then you call the people that work there, and there's like some fucking nerd at IBM, and he calls you stupid for not knowing that Windows 95 isn't the same thing as Windows 98. They're like, did you update your driver? Yeah, well, you shouldn't have done that. Hope you kept your receipt. All right, fuck you. See you later. And that was it. Yep, skill issue. They never gave a fuck. There were so many games that were literal garbage back then. Like, I'm talking about this shit would make a an indie game that, like, some Kickstarter one-person dev game, it would make this look like a AAA endeavor. Yeah, I mean, gaming back then, it was buyer beware.
This is an interesting question. People ask me all the time when I'm traveling about that kind of question. But I mean, they're usually thinking of 5 or 10 years out, and I tell them we only need to know what's going on 2 years from now or 3 years from now, because that's when our next game will be done, and we got to be sure that the next game will be successful when it comes out in 2 years or 1 year or 3 years. So I generally don't think in a horizon larger than that. But I think we know how to make games. We've learned how to make really excellent games.
We have a real broad array of talent at Ensemble, and we've created a real top PC franchise in Age of Empires. We're going to go on producing top real-time strategy games, but we're also working on a really fantastic console game that we think will be a real hit, and sometime down in the future we're going to be working on online games and possibly a massively multiplayer game. So the future looks bright.
Oh, those were the days. Those were the fucking days. God, man, it was just... There's a video right there. It fucking hurts to see. I just, like, dude, back in the 2000s, I remember, like, we were, like, kids, and, like, me and my friend Lowell, like, we would both sit in my mom's chair, and it's like, you know, because we were kids, we could both fit on it, and we would take turns sitting on the right side of the chair, so we could play Age of Empires, and it was just it was a really good time. Vietnamese still play Age of Empires too? A lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people still play Age of Empires. This cute shit. Yeah, man. Like, it was just... They made Halo Wars strategy game. I never played that. I never did. It's a category on Twitch. Yeah, I know. I've watched it before, man. I have. It's just like, it's weird to just, like, go back and watch something like that. I think that's funny.